Judge Bates went on to say something quite interesting. He said that it would be monstrous for findings to be made based on preferring certain witnesses' accounts by reasons of a mere educated guess by the tribunal as to what they think probably happened. And again, this is quite important because we often hear members of NMC Watch tell us, I just don't understand why the panel didn't believe me. It was obvious that the witnesses were lying or that their representation of what happened wasn't the exact facts, and the panel just didn't seem to explain to me why they didn't believe my version of events. And that's the panel's entitled to do that, but what the judge is saying here is that he felt that the panel didn't give a good enough explanation as to why they reached that decision, bearing in mind the different elements of evidence that were presented and the different witnesses that were presented for the registrant. So again, really important that the NMC make sure panels are trained so that they are inquisitorial and that they make their decision making really clear. Judge Bates went on to say that in talking about the witnesses for the NMC, he said their concern was to oust a boss that they resented. Their collective grievance, though copied to the NMC, was not truly motivated by a concern to protect the public interest. And again, this is where the NMC need to really dig deep and think about when a referral comes in, are they really asking the right questions? Are they finding out why that person's referring? What's motivating that person to refer? If there were actually any patients put at risk, or if there were potentially any patients put at risk by the actions of the nurse. It's difficult, and it will take a great deal of skill for an investigator to be able to do that. And if the people that are at the NMC don't have the skills to do that, then we need to look at where they can gather those skills in order to neutrally examine the information that's coming to them rather than just taking it for face value. Another really important aspect of this case is the fact that the whole proceedings took more than a year to finish, as in the hearing itself took over a year. There were 34 days in total over the span of a year for that hearing to conclude. And also the investigation was being carried out for events that had happened 7 years previously. And the nurse, Laura, she'd actually worked for 4.5 years at another establishment. She worked at a children's hospice, had glowing references, had no evidence of any incidents happening when she was there, and lots of evidence of really good practice. So once again, the NMC are reminded by this case that the purpose, Judge Bates said, the purpose of FTP regulatory regime is to protect public safety and the reputation of the nursing profession, not primarily to punish for failings that occurred in the past. And again, this is something that was mirrored by Anthony Omo's recent secondment to the NMC. Anthony Omo is one of the lead people at GMC, and he came over to offer advice on how the NMC could consider their caseload and case management. And he told the NMC that they're not there to police every single registrant that's on the register. They're there to manage risk, and they need to assess that risk accurately, and they need to assess it in the present time and look at the person that's in front of them and see if they do pose a risk at this moment in time. Now, obviously, this is really difficult when cases have taken such a long time to process, and that's why the mechanisms need to be improved at the NMC so they can accurately assess cases and do so in a timely fashion.